All right, everybody, I'm Brian, and this is Amy News and Conversation. We're here at day 2 of Amy Exchange, and I'm here with a great guest, Monty Gonzalez of CBET. We're going to dive into why he's here in just a moment, but I first wanted Monty to introduce himself. Just tell us a little bit about who you are.
Yeah, sure. I like to tell everybody I'm just at the heart and knuckle dragging Army Ranger, retired, and made a pivot in my career after retirement and got into healthcare technology management. And I'm currently serving as the president of the College of Biomedical Equipment Technology, and have just come to absolutely love this industry and this space, and thrilled to be here.
And you had mentioned your Army career a little bit, so I wanted to first kind of touch on that. Is that where you discovered HTM in the first place?
No, like so many fantastic people in this industry, really, they've stumbled into it, and I think that was my journey as well. I had no healthcare experience, no background in this industry, and just through chance, opportunity, discovered it and fell in love with it. It's a niche industry. It's unique. It's interesting and innovative, and it drew me in.
Yeah, and it's changing. I think that's what
Rapidly.
we're about to talk about right now here. But just for those who don't know, Monty is our 2024 winner of an Amy Publications Award. This is specifically for our most interesting article, our best commentary article of the year. And that article was called The Expanding Importance of IT Skills for HTM Professionals. I think it comes as no surprise for everyone that this is a very hot topic. It kind of touches on everything that everyone is talking about here at these sessions these days. So why did you feel it was necessary to talk about this with our community?
I think we talk a lot about a lot of different things, right? A lot of change, a lot of innovation. But I think the mega trend that is most interesting to me is that wave of technology that's upon us. And I always like to say revolution, not evolution, and I think that's where we're at. There's some things that are evolving slowly, but the technology wave is really revolutionary. And I think that in so many different areas of the industry, we're struggling to maintain pace with that. Adoption of a new technology, adoption of a new software, it sounds easy, but it's really hard to do. And that pace of change is so rapid that are we really addressing all of the requirements? Are we looking closely at the technical competencies of the technicians that this technology is thrust upon? And how are we managing that? How are we ensuring that those that are responsible for maintaining and managing the technology and medical equipment possess the skills to do it? And for us, that's become an increasingly important component of education and training. And we didn't create that or make that up in a vacuum. We work very closely with our industry partners to understand the space, and then work with them directly to kind of close those gaps, to ensure that the training that we provide is exactly what they're asking for. And so really...
When you say us, you're saying the
college,
of
yeah.
Biomedical Engineering Technicians. Is that right? Did I get that right?
Not even close. College of Biomedical Equipment Technology.
There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it's through those industry partnerships. It's through our relationship with Amy, and just understanding, developing relationships of trust, learning what our priorities should be. We don't feel like as an educational institution we establish those. We have to have our ears to the rail and listen to what's coming, and then be prepared for that and be prepared to support the industry.
So what is coming? Can you give us some examples of these technologies that you say are being thrust upon the technicians?
Yeah, I just think medical device integration is a huge topic, right? So you look at the diverse range of medical devices now that are fully networked. And I'll caveat this by saying I'm not an IT guy, right? I can barely turn my computer on, but I have a team of professionals around me that are, and it's amazing to me. So I put myself in context and think through the complications and the difficulties that we're facing today. And again, most of the time when I present or speak to people, I talk about my own experiences because it's easy to do that.
Yeah.
So I think back as an example, the integration of GPS technology for service members. Your soldier on the battlefield, the first time I deployed anywhere, I used a map and a compass. A few years later, I had a giant GPS in my hand. A few years later, I could
Big
do the
Garmin
same.
brick.
Right. A
Yeah.
few years later, I can do the same thing on my cell phone.
Wow.
So I think when I was handed that new technology, did I understand how to use it fully? Was I able to fully exploit its capability? The answer is no. I can only imagine now that a technician working in a hospital has that same challenge. You get new technology, that's great.
Yeah.
Do I know how to fully maximize its capacity? Do I know how to utilize it? And I think that's where a lot of our attention needs to be turned. And how do we compress that time to mastery? We don't have 2 years to develop a technician to hope that they understand how to utilize new technology. We need to compress that down. We need to make sure that when they go to work, they have a certain level of expectation and competency and mastery level. And that's our goal. And so as we've looked at this revolution in technology, and again, revolution is the right word because it's so fast and it's so disruptive, we have to keep that gap in education and training as close as we can. We just can't afford to let that expand.
And that, when I was reading your article, that did lead me to a similar question, which is, where do we draw the line in, okay, you've been trained enough in this because if we spend more time, you've become a health IT person and, you started a new career somewhere else, not HTM anymore. Where do you draw the line normally? How do you identify that?
Well, I'd say I don't think that's my role to draw that line. But I will say this, we have to invest in training. We had an interesting conversation earlier today. We were talking about competency-based education and training, and what does that mean? Well, what that means is you've got to determine what your priorities are as an organization. You've got to measure the skills of your workforce. You need to understand what those gaps are. And you need to invest in training that's aligned with your priority. Don't spend money on vanilla training. Don't hope that it's right. Get it right. Invest the time. Specificity.
Okay.
Understand the necessary competencies. Understand that those are aligned with your organization's mission focus. And if they're not, go back to the drawing board and work on that. I hate the idea of cookie cutter solutions to problems. Invest the sweat equity to develop the right type of training to focus on what your mission is. And look at what the greatest threats to your organization are and prioritize training in those areas, prioritize training in the areas that you need that work, and then look at solutions that reduce the training time necessary to achieve mastery, and then build on that.
Awesome. Some examples that I can think of just by attending the sessions that we have going on here at Amy Exchange. We've got cybersecurity becoming more and more of a concern as you're talking about interconnected devices. And then home healthcare is introducing a whole new aspect of that. I know some HTM departments now have to, hey, we're going to be sending this patient home with this wearable. The HTM department is in charge of that in one way or another. All these new questions that I think technicians even 10 years ago would not have imagined having to answer.
Yep, absolutely. I just had a conversation with Liz from Brigham and Women's Health. Very interesting conversation on that very topic. And she's got an interesting resume, by the way, not to plug her, but MBA, nursing degree, engineering degree, and because that wasn't enough, an IT degree. And I was like, that's the perfect combination, because so many of these things are moving into gray areas that, we focus on the technical skills, but we can't set aside the fact that these technicians that are working in healthcare facilities are dealing with patients, right? There's that aspect to it. Do they know how to communicate? Do they know how to talk in those environments? Can they speak to the issues that are relevant? Can they work with the clinical staff to get them to help understand better a problem? Can they then address that either on the IT or technology side or on the biomed side?
Yeah.
And so there's just a lot of gray area that needs to be addressed, and I think we can do it. But to do it, it's a partnership. It's not CBET saying, "Oh, this is what the right solution to training is." It's an investment of time. Over the last day or so, I've had really wonderful conversations with a couple of formidable partners that we work with. We've invested years in the development of a very specific curated education and training with organizations like Renovo, Sodexo, TriMedics, Agility, and a handful of others. And those partners that we have at those different organizations that are normally very competitive, in this unique space where it's about elevating the profession, they collaborate. And
They're willing to share
they're
information.
shared, yeah.
That's great.
And that collaboration is critically important. And they all understand that we're elevating the game. And I think, not to plug Amy, because I'm here and I love what you guys do, but the truth of the matter is this is the DMZ. This is where everybody can come together and work together and collaborate to elevate the profession. And as we're doing that, and as we're listening to our industry partners, it is really about these priorities and the revolution in IT and technology and cybersecurity and AI, and the list goes on. Like, that's critically important. And we like to look at these things in megatrends. What are the megatrends?
Yeah.
That's the most important, biggest one we're facing today.
And this is where those megatrends are discussed or discovered even.
Absolutely.
Hey, what do you look at next? I've got to say, I know you got to get onto the stage. We're going to celebrate your award. Congratulations once again. But, thank you so much for taking the time. And is there anything you're looking forward to at Exchange moving forward?
I love to spend my time meeting with my friends and colleagues that I've met over the last few years doing what we're doing. I've had the opportunity to present at a couple different forums so far. And I love it because the more friends you have in the room, I was telling somebody earlier today, no matter what you say when you're presenting, at the end of that, they're going to pat you on the back and tell you what a great job you did because they're loyalty. So, it's just about the collaboration and meeting with people and learning more about what needs to be prioritized in terms of training.
Fantastic. Well, Monty, thanks again, and enjoy the rest of Exchange.
Thank you. Appreciate
All right.
it.